Hi friends, this is Elder Ken Seaman with Pastor Dr. Maria Seaman. Welcome to our new YouTube channel.
Hi folks, yes, we have a new YouTube channel, Voice for Our Times, our new online outreach ministry where you can find all of our social media sites under this handle. We're so excited you're here. Now this is where we need your help. See that subscription button? Click on it. Thank you very much.
And don't forget to click on the notification bell.
Hello.
This way, you'll receive notifications when we are live and dropping a new video. You'll know instantly.
All right. Now, folks, these are challenging times. As a pastor, I get it. There are so many religious leaders claiming one thing or another, and it's hard to decipher the truth. I get it. I do. Now, I can tell you this. Please know that I study the Word of God and I commune with God at all times before I speak to the people. At Voice for Our Times, we'll be sharing and discussing local topics as well as global topics, issues that really matter. I'm going to connect the dots for you. We'll be dropping new videos to keep you up to date with all that's happening at Shekinah, from our live streams, the Sunday services, to Song in the Night. And don't worry, we've got the clips of the swim band. I know you like to jam with them. We'll be launching other programs too really soon. We want to keep you connected.
Feel free to also comment on the videos. We'd love to hear from you too.
All right. Stay connected on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Shekinah's taking it to the next level. And we want you to be a part of the journey. Blessings abound. All right. God bless you. Good evening, everyone, or good night. We're glad to be with you one more time. Here we are, Real Knows Real. Another time that we get to meet you at your doorstep. Come on in your home. Sit and chat for a little while. And so, we're excited to be able to meet you one more time and discuss some matters that we believe are at the forefront of, the thoughts and hearts of people. So again, tonight we are looking at Real Knows Real, looking at this woman. As I said last time, she is the most used and probably the most abused woman ever. For, Mother's Day all over the world, people talk about her as the ideal. And then we all have a fit trying to live up to who she is. Personally, let me say that I believe she is possible. Yet we have to consider the times in which we live and then look at her and consider what we're doing. And listen, folks, even if we don't hit everything, every target, as it were, we have to have a standard. We have to be able to go for it. And so we had some interesting dialogue last time. I'm loving the millennials, I'm loving the Gen Z, the younger folks. And I'll tell you what, again, if we want to be able to show them the kingdom way, we've got to meet them in the way. How about that? Meet them where they're at, and then see where we actually have a commonality of thought, even coming from different perspectives. And so tonight, I'm one more time excited to have my guests, and had good conversation last time, and I look forward to the conversation tonight. One of the things I want to say before I invite them in is to really open up yourself to understand that God's word is like, it's forever. In other words, it'll meet your need. It met the needs of the day way back when. If you allow it, it'll meet your need today. And what we want to do is give you an opportunity to have the dialogue and to hear what we're saying and understand the beauty of this particular woman, and actually why she may not be such a difficult target, role model to attain to. Okay, so folks, let's see who we got on board. And right, okay, I'm going to invite Ian. First of all, I think she is quite the conversationalist, and I'm going to invite in Sister Chelsea Jacobs right now. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody.
Oh yeah, you all know Chelsea now.
Yeah.
I
was love me or you hate me, but it's okay.
Pastor loves you, and just while I've got you on screen alone, what I like is people who know who they are. Mm-hmm. That way, you always know who you're dealing with. You don't have to shift.
Yeah,
and it provides a foundation. So I'm good. That's why you're with Seaman, right?
Yes,
real nerds, real. Come on now. And I love that about you. And then we have, all right, let's bring in the other youngster before I bring in my own personal sibling. Here we have our sister Kayla Hollis. Here she is. Hello. Yes, we can. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, it's good to have you on board, and certainly the few comments that you gave just warranted that we want to hear more from you. And young folks, I call you young folks, but I know how young is these days. Continue to be yourselves. There's a generation that I believe deserve the gospel, and so we want to bring it real. Let's have the conversations that we need to have. And speaking of reaching to folks, reaching out there, here's my sister Allisson.
Hey.
All right, how you doing? Okay, we got there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, fixing it. All types of fancy things. And you know me, if you see your face change from one angle to another, you're like, that's Seaman over there playing with the buttons. Yes, I am. So, Al, it's good to see you.
Good night, all.
Good night. And, you bring certainly a level of experience. For example, a real challenge is, okay, now you're in the kingdom. You share with the folks, you've been married prior twice. Yeah, I'm just going to hit you with a question. I'm going to get controversial here right now. I guess I'm feeling a little antsy or something. Well, how are you going to be a Proverbs 31 woman?
Because I have all the qualities. I've always had the qualities. You just have to have the right man. And for me, these weren't the right man. They just weren't the right man. I saw attraction, and we didn't date long enough because there were signs. I saw things and I chose to he'll change. You can't change anybody that doesn't want to change. So you need to understand that from the beginning, that people only change when they want to. And you can't turn a blind eye to everything. Now, I can tell you, a real man knows when to apologize, right? So if something goes wrong and he can't say, I'm sorry, that's going to always be a problem unless, that's a God step in. So yeah, so for me, it was they weren't the right person. I just wanted them to be something I saw. And I know that even especially my second marriage, I made him into things that he wasn't before I met him. Certain people we hung around, certain things we did. He was none of that before me. The problem was I introduced him to stuff, and then I was like, how do I take that back? Because I'm more saddled. I like to be home, and some of those crowds wanted to be out. So you can't change anybody.
That's a powerful point right there, because you just said something, and this can relate to anybody. So it's not just dealing with you. You just said they wanted to be out, and you were into being married now, being home.
Yeah.
And certainly that's the example we saw. That's the example that we saw. And so, we see a mom, clean, cook, clean, look good, go work, come back home, go to church, boom. And so that atmosphere of settling was there. All right, good, wonderful response. So I'm going to take you to a scripture verse. Then we're going to kind of talk about what you just said. We're in Proverbs, the last chapter in the book, and we're going to hit some of these verses here that will cause us to have the conversation. Okay. First verse, taking a look at it here. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yeah, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. So right away, this is a giving woman. So
that's me.
Yeah, I know that's right. Your community work you do and all that you do. So youngsters. Now, when I say youngsters, I mean there's youngsters, not us youngsters. Here is a quality of giving. I want to know is, do you feel that you hit the 10 out of 10 or whatever? Do you pass in the giving? Are you a giving person? Sister Kayla, talk to me. Are you a giving person?
I believe I am. But I think where I lack in comparison to that scripture is who I give to. So when it comes to like my friends or people that I care about, like I'll give you my last, but I'll walk along the street and purposely not make eye contact with someone sitting on the street asking for money.
All right. Now we hear you, Val. Just speak up a tidbit, but I do hear you, so that's great. That's interesting. So then I think, do you have a trust factor of not opening up yourself, not taking that chance with other people? That perhaps can be a part of that story of why you avoid certain opportunities to give when you consider yourself a giving person. And that can be cautious, and that can be okay, because you don't want to give to everybody carelessly. So, okay, I got that. What about you, Chelsea? Are you a giving person?
I tend to be when I want to be. I think we established last week, I have a tendency to be selfish when I'm good and ready to be. And if I need groceries, you on your own, because my fridge is going to be full before I give anybody anything. But beyond that, I tend to give. I give more of my time than anything else. So I will, adjust my entire life if it means that I'm there for you in some type of way, to be present for something and to give you my time. But my money, I'm more stingy with my money. Yeah. Like, well, I'm gonna pay my bills and
yeah, that's important.
I'm gonna eat. and in that order. But outside of that, yeah, you can have my time. You can't have my money.
I'm going to tell you. I know you may put off being tough and all, got on your jacket and your hoodie, but you're one of the most giving persons that I knew.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Every child, if you could have a house, if you could have a house full of children, and again, I think it's a safe place with you.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, kids can get anything from me. They got trucks, they get dolphins. Yeah, the children. As an adult, don't ask me for my money. As a kid, you could ask me for the world.
Nah, I'm not gonna counseling coach out here, but I can tell you we all become who we are because of situations that we've been through.
Absolutely.
And it's always a story. It's a story behind why I am the way I am. It's a story behind why you, all of us, are the way that we are. And here's one thing I like, that God brings us all together with all of our different stories. I
Yep.
mean, and some of the stories people would know are like jacked up stories, or horror stories, or sad stories, or wonderful stories. There's such a mixture, yet we all come together. You know why? Because that's the world. And I think that Bermuda, one of the things I want them to understand is that church is not made of perfect people who have got it together and have not been through. Are you kidding me? Find that place. Soon as I arrive, I just messed it up. You see. And so we bring the essence of who we are to the table, and God sets the table up, and the people experience a buffet. I hope somebody got that.
Yep.
Right? So everybody is not your person in church, but there are enough people in the church for you to excel and become who you are meant to be. All right, we've got some good comments here. Sister Donna Jacobs is saying that's right. Don't turn a blind eye. Good stuff. Voice for our time. That's probably Sister Angela. She's saying, then you give to them, and sometimes they see you later on and embarrass you. That's happened a few times, so I'm reluctant to give to folks on the street begging for $2, etc. All right. So again, given the situation, let's go back to this woman. Let me tell you something. I'm going to convince Chelsea and Kayla that they're on their way to being this woman.
There you go.
Oh, that's the go.
Yeah, that's the go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're actually
For me, at least.
That's so better.
Listen.
You know me, I believe in the opposites. So the more resistant you are in the subliminal, you got it, Kayla. You can deny, the more actually you desire. Yeah, you keep on resisting. I said I would never get married. I said I would never have children. Hello. Anyway.
No,
exactly.
Waiting on it.
Absolutely
Waiting on
not.
it for you.
Y'all, I ain't slept in months. Okay. I don't have time. Okay, I'm busy.
Right now, but let's get back to a quality of this woman, and let's look at this one, verse 21. It reads, she is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. This woman will go out. This is what it's saying. She's got children. She's got a man. She's going to make sure that things are the way they should be. Now, Allisson, you know, I know for a fact, you know how you take care of business, the children. You know, I can remember when you had the 3, I had the 2, and they were all dressed alike. You know, everybody's hair was, Sundays was amazing. You know, we had the Russell Grands, they'd be singing. Even though you were not married at one point, the children, you always took care of the household.
Yeah.
Express to us, what was your heartbeat in doing that? What drove you to make sure that was done?
Well, first of all, I always believe children are a reflection of the parent. So if you don't dress your children properly, my children always had to look better than me. I could go out, there's no problem. They always had to look better than I did. So, you know, they are your reflection. So no matter what was going on with me, those children look good. I loved it. I loved the fact that they were dressed alike here every morning. People were like, well, how do you do that? I'm like, you get up early. So, you know, for me, that is just you as a mother. And that is your biggest quality, to make sure that your young children are taken care of no matter what you're going through. They never went to school without fresh breakfast, hair combed, and I still made time to work. And that's important.
Yeah. Quite a challenge, it seems, for the youth today. Chelsea, why do you think this thing is now a challenge. Why can't young married women of your age get up and do the same thing that got children and make sure that everything's on point? What's up with that? What's
Well,
your
I
opinion?
can't speak for those that have gotten married and won't do it because they should have known what they were signing up for. And if they weren't gonna get up, they should have stayed single. Hello. So, but I'm assuming it's because they're tired. You know, we have done. I think we did a lot fast. In our generation, we've done a lot fast. So we went to school, we got all the degrees, we did all of that stuff. And now we're married, or now we have kids, or both. And nobody ever took a break. Nobody ever took a moment to just breathe when they got through school. Like, I've watched several people I went to school with, in school, they jumped, they got married, they had the kids, they got 3 and 4 kids, and they're graduating now. But it's like, sis, how was you supposed to do all that? I go to work and go to school, and I struggle to get up with nobody in my house. You got like 6 people. How does that work? Like, why?
It's something that's within you. It's like, you got to do it. And remember, I was working. I went to school, right? I had the grandbabies in the house. I had children in the house. I had my parents. All of that, and graduated top of my class, because it's the drive you have. It's the will to succeed and to try to make your life better for your children, your parents, your family. I had a goal, and my goal was to ensure that they never went through what I went through. And, I was trying to show them this is the better way to do it. And even though they make choices that are different and they're still accountable for them, I knew that, okay, I'm going to get up at 6:30. I've got to study. I've got to get breakfast ready, people out the door. You just have to, you have it in you, and something goes and says, that's my goal. My goal was to make sure we had this house, we had to pay the bills, and we still had to operate as a family. So you just find it in you. You think you don't have it. I cried too many nights when I was studying, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. And then I just, like, by the grace of God, I just said, okay, I have to do this. And then I'm like, Pastor, I had to graduate top. I'm telling you, I was like, my GPA has to be, didn't matter how old I was, but people half my age couldn't get that GPA. So, and then you feel great about it. So it's accomplishments as well.
Yeah. So even though, and I'm going to bounce over to Kay after I make this comment, even though the generation, 30, in the 30s, in the 20s, even though they have the privilege of getting to college, it seems like maybe that was made too easy in some ways. Some of the prior struggles. I can recall as a child, for Christmas, being glad when I got a puzzle. You got your pajamas the night before Christmas. Always had to have, mama always made sure you had Christmas pajamas. And if I got a book, a puzzle, and a skate, I was good. So I still knew, okay, I've got to do better than my parents. That was key. Today, it's like the parents are doing real good, and the children sometimes can relax because mama's got it covered or daddy's got it covered. Chelsea, I know you're still pushing. You're about to graduate with a master's.
No, a bachelor's.
A bachelor's.
Bachelor's on Saturday. Yep.
Well, maybe you're on Saturday. Praise the Lord. So maybe you'll graduate with a bachelor's and then get a bachelor.
Hey,
No.
no. Hey, no.
No, ma'am. No.
Yes, ma'am.
No, we got other degrees to get. Like, do you know how happy I am to get rid of a big degree? You want to bring me a more expensive bill? No.
If you keep on, here's the question for you both. If you keep on going after the degree, after the degree, after the degree, then when do you fulfill that womanhood of becoming a wife and a mother? Kay, what do you say to that?
Well, for me personally, my drive isn't the same as Chelsea's. So I think it could be because I'm like more of Chelsea's a creative too, but because of, I guess, just who I am. I'm not saying education is very important, but I'm not driven to just go for degrees. You know, my goals are a bit different. Like what I would like to achieve and be successful in, like as a career, I don't need a degree for it, or at least not to start. There may be like a lesson or something that I need to pass to do a specific avenue of what I want to do, but to do it overall, I don't need a degree in it. So I find myself now in this downtime, like with COVID and everything, because I'm not working, unfortunately, right now and everything. So I'm home, and I'm finding this time actually trying to mentally prepare myself, like as far as taking care of the house and stuff like that, because I know, unlike Chelsea, I know I want to be a wife, I want to be a mother. So yeah, that's my story.
Okay. All right. Good comment there. Here's something. We got a comment from Facebook from Superintendent Battersby. She said, the key to the Proverbs 31 woman is a life of godly wisdom and self-sacrifice, something that is dwindling today. And I think that's kind of what I was speaking to, the sacrifice, and that's what, when we have children, we sacrifice. I always say, listen, once you have a child, you have no life. I know it sounds tough, but it means, I'm not saying you don't literally have a life. What I'm saying is that as a woman now who has become a mother, that's your those children or that child is the priority, because they have a future to grow into. And so the key is that as individuals, you follow your pathway. Yet as Christians, remember that we are walking in the wisdom of the word of God. So just in case Chelsea doesn't get the bachelor, then she should be striving still to fulfill who this woman is with regards to her own life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, work hard for your money. You know, that's a song. Donna Summer sang that. Do what you got to do in order that your labor is rewarded. You don't want to be lazy. You always want to have a plan. I find that young people don't have the 5-year plan. What in the world? I have a 5-year plan. You know, I had a 5-year plan when I was 14, probably younger.
Nice.
You know, that's why I knew. I said, listen, I need to make sure I get this degree and take my parents a degree, especially when they let me get married. I can't be saying, well, I changed my mind about what I want to become. Figure it out and take him a degree. And so the responsibility level is just very different. Now, here's a verse for us, and we're going to talk about it. 27, she looked well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. Well, when you're by yourself, I guess you can be idle at some level. However, once you are married, in a relationship, have children, then your first priority is to look well to your household, is to make sure that everything is taken care of. So let me ask this question of you, Sister Kayla. You're not married, but you're in a household. So my question is, what are you doing now in your household that is a stepping stone or preparation to married life? Talk to me.
So I guess I can, since it's, you know, real recognize real whatever.
Volume up a bit.
I'm in a position where I'm kind of, I mean, I'm doing what I need to do in the house, but I'm struggling with it, in all honesty. And Pastor, I know you and I have had this conversation before, and I can honestly say it was because of how I was brought up. I wasn't, not saying that I was brought up in a bad environment or anything, but growing up, I'm an only child living with 3 adults, my nana, my mama, her husband, and the adults took care of everything. The adults took care of the laundry, the dishes. Occasionally, I would have to wash dishes or whatever. And I didn't have the basic responsibilities that a lot of my peers do. And I found that when we moved out of my nana's house, I found that I struggled a lot as far as upkeep and like things, my personal things, having chores and everything. At 14 years old, that's when we moved out. That's when I started to have those responsibilities, and I struggled. And now at 29 years old, with my mom passing away 5 years ago, I'm still struggling from 14, and now it's a new struggle that was given to me at 24, which was learning to live without your mother. And so like things like, if I have a doctor's appointment, I have to make it. If oh, there's nothing in the house, I have to cook. I have to go get the groceries. So stuff like that. So I'm openly and honestly, I still struggle with it. Like I enjoy cooking, but I don't like to have to do it. But I do have to do it.
Well,
I don't like dishes, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
So what helps me is knowing that I want to be a wife. I want to have my own home. I want to have my own family. And a part of doing that successfully is having that as a habit, not just, oh, once a week I'm going to do this. No, this is what needs to be done. You need to learn how to have a house in order so that you can keep your house in order. So that it's kind of, it's what drives me to do it.
Appreciate what you've said, being very transparent. So here's my thing. We've had a conversation or two, not on a regular. And so as your pastor, I would then say responsibly here that who's that female of your family or of the church that you should connect with and actually have them be your mentor. My thing is this, without having time to go right into it, there needs to be a time limit. You need to see yourself modeling in your home the excellence of being a caretaker of your home before you go and step out and try to have a home on your own. So to me, I know the type of person I am. I would say to myself, all right, how many meals I'm cooking this week? Sunday's meal always goes to Monday's meal. All right, how many days? There are certain things. I know every year I should have this type of checkup, eyes, physical, all different types of things like that. And you need to begin to organize yourself so you're moving towards that step. Because until you're the woman, you need to be as an individual. You'll never be the wife of a successful marriage, because marriage is tough anyway, can be very challenging.
And all that you said is what I'm actively doing at this time.
Okay, good stuff.
Absolutely.
And I want to make sure you got a mentor or somebody.
I know. I just remember one time you were preaching and you were talking to the single ladies and you're saying how you want a husband, but you can't keep your room clean. And I cracked up because I was like, that's why I'm single.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on it. So even for that, like, I totally get it. I totally agree. Like, there's one thing I have no denial. I know that I'm not totally prepared to be in a relationship, to be a wife at this time, because I'm not there yet. I'm still working to get there.
Let me say this before I continue the conversation, and I'm being told we've got a number of good comments on Facebook, so I want to hear them. I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, lunchtime would meet, I forget the name of the park on South Shore. Kayla, you were there, and I would talk to the young people, and I talk real. I didn't cover anything. Why? Because again, real knows real, and I know real life, and I know these young people are having real struggles, and they are not a Maria. So where I was able to rebuke and whatever, and just I could be a nun. I wouldn't have had a problem. So I know not everybody's built that way. And so we had the real conversation. And so I want people to understand that when the young people reach out or I reach out to them, we have those moments, and that strategically at times during a sermon, I will say something because I'm trying to like ring the bell, hello, and to make the folks aware, the young people, you ain't ready. Don't come to me. You can't come here, keep house. Don't tell me marry you. I turned down somebody recently. I ain't marrying you no more. What? How many meals you cook? Yeah, keeping house. You ready to have children? All this. And so it's a preparation thing going on. All right, let's go to Facebook and I'll read some comments. Okay. Ooh, I don't know where to begin. We got a lot of them, you guys. Okay, let's go to thank you, Keisha Brett. All right. Okay, Rhea. Now I knew Rhea in primary school. Rhea Smith says, we gave that generation too much because we wanted better for them than we had. And I think that's so. Even with my children, I was like, I only got 2 presents for Christmas. My girls are going to have more. Now, I didn't go into name brands. I think, Allisson, you can say the same. We made sure that they were all, yeah. But I didn't go for the name brands, though. We didn't do that. They were just dressed well, take care of, and always had the dresses. Always been king of Prussia. Let's not go into that. Made sure we got the Christmas outfits in November. Anyway, all right. Well, here's Jana Maria. Let's hear what she's saying. Recently married 10 months ago. She says, become a wife first, and they will see how they quickly can't be lazy. Nowadays, they have children first and don't understand the hard work and sacrifices. That's wisdom right there. I believe you get married first, get that in gear first, take care of him, take care of the household, and then you have the children. There's an order that God set, and it's wisdom. It's the best order. It's not always done, but it's the best way. If not, you have to have some amazing skills. And I'll say, that's where I admire my sister. What? Children, and I think 1 grandchild at that time, and you're going to college to get a degree? What kind of food? What? But she did it because she's competitive and driven. And that's what it takes. And if you're a lazy person, you're not going to go through all that. And sometimes the children who are now between 20 and 40 were given a lot. Bermuda, some of you don't know the economy in Bermuda. You could have 2, 3 houses, 2, 3, 4 jobs, and it was just going well. Now we're in a struggle, and we can now feel the struggle. That's what's going on. Let me go to some more comments folks have here. Amen. Kayla, somebody's loving your openness. God bless you.
Thanks.
Yep, got a couple of people loving it. Hey, good stuff. Superintendent said, are the 20s ladies of today prepared to lay down their preconceived notions and feelings and learn the Lord's standard, which quite honestly will always seem to be out of step from the world standard, but it's actually the best standard. Wow. So in other words, again, we've lost it there. My children, they all went Sunday school. I went Sunday school, every Sunday. The children today, how can you know that standard? That's how I'm going to respond to that. How can the children know the standard when the parents don't know the standard or don't go the standard? So that's a challenge of today because the discipline's lacking. All right, let's have this for you, Chelsea. Let's see. I read something. I said, that's a good one. Okay, here we go. And this is for Kay and Chelsea. Do you create a vision board at the beginning of each year? Curious to know if young women do this. Let's start with you, Chelsea. Vision board. Go.
Absolutely. I have a vision board, a vision book. I have a life binder with all the layout of all the plans for all the things. I do it not even just at the beginning of the year. I do it throughout the year. I have I did the bucket list 300 challenge where you come up with like 300 things you want to do before you die. It's very hard to do that. But I did it. I have that. I checked stuff off of that. So I have the vision, but my vision is a big part of that vision is being able to help families and relationships work. But I need several degrees to do that. So before I can even think about taking on extra people, I got to get the degree so that I can have the one job. Okay. I would like to have one job instead of 6, to have time to do anything.
So
You know what I
in your gut, Chelsea, then I'm going to say this, in your gut, in the essence of who you are, you at this point think that you can have a life and never be married and be okay.
Yeah, I can. But at the same time, it's like, and, I had this conversation with God. I was like, if that's what you want, like if you want me to get married, by all means, let me know like 10 years in advance that it's coming, so I can
It's coming,
prepare
Chelsea.
Shh. So that I can prepare myself, and then when it happens, it happens. But I ain't looking for it. I ain't checking for it. I'm just, trying to do all the other things that he's set out for me to do. Yeah.
All right, Missy. All right. Now, Kayla, the question to you. Vision board, talk to me.
I do not. I have not yet.
See, and that's
things are. I found myself finally in a place where I know what I want to do, and that helps. So, not yet, but I'm getting there.
so if you are finally at the place where you know what you want to do, you need to have a journal, a vision board, something so that you can write the end goal down, because you're not going to get there tomorrow. It's going to take these increments.
Yep.
And we all at times have visions. It's the increments where we get lost, right? The visions are fine, but the in-between, the meantime, meanwhile, it can get mean and divert you from it. So I really want you to write it down and see it in black and white. You're writing. You are the author of it. Came from God. You're the author of it now. And now you must make sure that you get there. The steps. What do you need to get there? All right. And folks are loving you guys' honesty. Very, very good. Very good. Now let me read some comments. I'm going to read some comments here. I see Eunice showed up from Facebook. Good stuff. She said, whether we are married or not, we want God to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. We must be productive. Well, yes, this is true. And what I'll say to that also is that, of course, you don't have to be married to be productive. Okay, I don't want that fallacy out there. I believe that some folks can be single, totally satisfied, and live a totally fulfilled life. My job, Chelsea, is to make sure though that I put up the ideal woman in case you're running away from her, but you really need to run to her.
Oh my!
But I do.
I'm a runner, I run. I island hop. I nation hop. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness gracious. All right. Okay, Eunice had corrected that and I didn't see it. All right, here are some questions. Maybe I'll ask this first of Allisson, even though I know. I want you, Allisson, to respond to this in what it should be for the younger generation. And this is Overseer. She's asked, what is your organizational skills like? Organizing. Talk to us about that, Allisson. How important is it when it comes to becoming the woman that you need to be?
I think that It's tough. I've always been organized. I have a plan. I actually used to write a journal from when I was little. I still have journals from primary school. People are like, you keep that stuff? I'm like, yeah, because sometimes I want to look back and be like, what were you thinking? So it's important. I go to bed at night and I might think about something my next day. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's got to be done and that's got to be done. I'm meticulous. I'm very, it's like when I travel, everything, I'll put together a whole little schedule of everything that's going to happen every day. Now, if it changes, that's fine. Things happen. But I find the more organized you are, the better you'll find that you're able to do things like cook and clean because you have a schedule. Everybody that knows me knows what my Saturdays are like. And unless I have a function to attend and I have to manipulate that schedule, it's the same thing. I get up early, I'll go to the farmer's market, then I go to the grocery store, then I'm clean. So, I'm organized. I always have been. I find it makes your life a lot easier because if not, you're living in clutter, right? So, and then you'll find yourself all over the place.
Right.
So you really have to be organized. It's important. And
Yeah.
as a mother, it's totally important.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think our own mother modeled that excellent. How she cooked every day and walked and didn't have a car and had to catch the bus and had 4 children, all that. So we kind of fell into it honestly. Allisson, I would say, is more meticulous than me. I am when it comes to like preaching, my schedule, but in life, like I get jealous of her sometimes. I say I'm going to monitor what I do with all my money. Allisson knows where everything is.
Yeah.
I do
years worth of budget books. People think it's a joke. I don't play with money. First of all, and I'm very giving, so I don't play with money. I like to know what I done with it. I like to know where it's going. I like to know, and I try to teach other people that. I always, tell people budget. It's healthy. Your God percent, your savings percent, and you'll be surprised. You'll find money that you didn't know you had if you budget properly. And then you can put that into everything's about order anyway. So if you do that, your life it's easier. It's just easier.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be like, what? Sometimes I'll confess this to the whole world. Like I'm be transferring money, think I'm done it right. Allisson on the ball in 2 minutes. Maria, you transferred it from this account or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, let me go back up, give it back to you. Because she's just me. I just do it. Now, mind you, every day I've got my book here and I'm writing down my schedule too, what I need to do, things that come to my heart, that I don't want to lose that thought. And that's very important because I was in the kitchen last week and God gave me a song. And I said, oh, I'm not going to forget that. Well, no, I forgot it. I should have wrote it down. So now I'm really mad because it went with a Sabbath. Anyway, you're giving great advice as far as being organized. You see how important this is, Faye? You hear that? Meticulous, right? And you know me, I'm that way with my sermons. I prepare them months in advance. That way I can just chill and go through them, right? And so that's very important. All right, well, okay. I think Chelsea, I would say you're a very organized person. Agree?
Yeah. I think I'm organized in terms of having a plan. And I know where everything is for me, but like it would look like chaos to anybody else. Like I'm one of those people, right? Like if we're gonna be real, I'm not gonna fold my clothes because I know I'm gonna put them back on. So they just gonna be on the couch because ain't nobody sitting on my couch. Use the couch, right? Like, so that's what they're gonna be because especially when I work, I'm gonna cycle like 4 outfits, 5 outfits.
I need a boot camp.
Right. You know what I mean? Like I wear the same thing all the time. It don't make sense to put it away when I gotta put it back on tomorrow. So like if you like come to my house, you'll be like, this child is a mess. But I'm not. I'm organized. I see it. I know what I'm doing.
But nobody else would know. So nobody else can enter your world.
Right.
It's like Chelsea's
That's
world.
her plan.
That's the name of it. Yeah.
Much prayer. Much prayer. Mm-hmm. And,
Yeah.
and Kate, what now? We're talking about being organized, and you already shared that, you recognize you're behind, but you got the. So I'm just going to say to you, hey, get that book. Matter of fact, you got Allisson right there. If you trust me, if you need any advice on being organized in spite of life's challenges,
Mhm.
I recommend my sister. I bragged on my sister before she came back in the church. I've said it several times. When my sister gets in the church, oh, my life is going to be easier because I already knew her characteristics of being organized, meticulous, and very caring. It's an amazing thing. And that's a statement I'm going to make. When your life is organized, you become even more caring because you know you've got time to care.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine what an organized, even more Chelsea would bring about because she is a caring gal. But, hey, we're going to get there. Let me see what folks are saying. Allisson, they're loving it. Good, good, good. She's saying Jana's saying she must have got her saving habits from you. I could save. I just can't remember, as particulars. You talking about Jana? I'm gonna throw your mama under the bus. I could say it. How you think you? That's good. Though. She's right. Oh gosh. Okay. Mikea said, "Clotter, I cannot just go over a friend's house without helping them." Well, befriend Mikea. Apparently, she will come and help you.
My house is off limits to people. You're not allowed in my house. You're only allowed in my yard.
Yeah, your heart.
Don't go past the grill. That's yeah.
This girl.
So I'm gonna go back now. Oh wow. Okay, we're gonna go a little over. I went back and I looked at some of the comments that we didn't get to speak to last time. Some of them are repeats, but I think we can say more. I thought that this was a comment that was like, wow, okay. A viewer comment, fear of failure in marriage, real, especially if you've already been married. Fear is real. It can stifle you. It can stump you. It can prevent you from even wanting to be in a relationship if you see someone else fail in their relationship. And I think that this is applicable. I really think this is applicable to the current generation between 20 and 30. They've seen so many failed marriages in and out of church, so many fake marriages, struggling marriages that they're really questioning what marriage is. I want to say that marriage is a beautiful institution. You just have to be ready for it. And you're not going to be perfected at the wedding day. You have to have a lot of strength to understand that you're going to change, the spouse is going to change, and yet God can cause it that you can change together. And it takes time. I told you last time, I think it took 20 years for me to learn some things. So it's about the tenacity of commitment, but both have to be that, right? Both have to be that. So fear of failure, you think it's real, Kay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
So
I
what
also,
you got friends, what are they saying about marriage? Why do people not getting married? Why people having children, which cost money before they get married? I don't understand it.
well, why people are having children is because people's having sex.
Well, that would absolutely be absolutely, but no, let me go somewhere with that. I'm a scientist, so let me go on. Well, you can have sex, you can have protected sex. You can be on birth control. So why are you having children if you're not going to be with him in a relationship?
I mean,
Hmm?
I don't know because that's not me. But
Yeah, it's happening out there a lot.
it is happening. But I will say that the friends that I do keep close are also marriage minded as well. But I mean, when it comes to sex and everything, I mean, you know, we all live in this day and age. It's glorified, it's hyped up, it's society's standard for a relationship. I mean, not even a relationship, it's society's standard for a connection with a person. Like, I know, well, not personally, but I've heard or see online people that talk about how, you know, they need to test drive the car before they buy it, you know, things of that nature. So, like, people will have sex before they commit to see if they're compatible. And if they're compatible, they build off of that. Then, like, I tell people, anyone who knows me personally knows that sex is not a foundation for me. Sex is not on the table for me at this time. I'm not married. I'm not doing it. And that's been my personal choice. But so when it comes to relationships and everything, with people having sex as the foundation, I mean, that leaves rooms for slip-ups, for, you know, having a baby out of wedlock when marriage may not even be the goal.
And I think someone just shared a comment, or this comment came from a young person, Sister Cameron Young, and she said, people prioritize lust over love.
Yeah,
That's what's going on.
Definitely.
You know, because my thing is, let's go back to test driving. Why is it always that the guy is the one? Usually, not always. Usually the guy has got to test drive her being the car. I want to test drive him being the bank and being able to take care. Hello.
Yeah.
So why, you know, sex is an emotional thing. Love goes beyond sex.
But even now, sex isn't seen as an emotional thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
That's what I'm saying. Either it's driving a car is mechanical.
Yeah, like I've seen posts about how people said that, like, the term virginity or the idea of virginity is like a control thing and stuff like that. And, you know, there's
Control
a lot of
who? Who is controlling who? See, that's just a mindset to try to convince young women that you're faulty if you haven't been test driven. I mean, just think about that. I think that's an insult actually to womanhood. What you mean you gotta test drive me? What happened to folks getting to know each other and love each other and grow with each other? You test drive. It's a scary thought. Are you hearing the same thing, Chelsea? What's this thing about young people, you know, needing to have sex before marriage to test drive some vehicle called a woman?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that stuff too. But also, you know, I know people personally who never want to get married but want kids. You know what I mean? And so I think that plays another role into that. They're like, yeah, you know, I don't want marriage. I don't necessarily need to be with him, but, you know, our baby would look cute and he's, you know, got good genes. And we're friendly enough, right? We're friends enough to make that decision. If it happens, it happens. And, you know, so I think there's also that aspect too. And that probably plays into the fear of marriage as well.
I mean, wow.
You get you a friend that's like, look, we like each other enough. We'll have a great kid, and we can co-parent, but neither of us want to get married. They'll just get the kid.
That is volcanic, what you just stated. And it's real. That you can have a young woman who has been so disappointed in her own father that she doesn't want to get married, but she knows she wants to be a great mother.
Right.
At some point, there's going to be a collision because mothers were meant to have as a partner, a father for that child. And that child deserves two parents at their beck and call. And right now we've trained a generation or two that you can have a part-time daddy and everything's okay. Or you can have a part-time mama. You're not full-time unless you're there. And when marriages break up or relationships unfold, that child suffers. And so, yes, having the baby, the babies are all cute, gorgeous, wonderful, gorgeous.
Not all of them.
Well, okay, 90.
Honest.
Oh, Lordy, you ain't getting me in trouble.
Real,
95%.
real. Every baby ain't cute.
Yes, it's the truth. 95% of the newborns are beautiful and wonderful, but they grow up and they need money and pampers and it's like paying rent, childcare. No, we want and we need government assistance. We need nana. We need grandma. We need but that wasn't put in the equation before. You see, and so you don't create a stronger society by weakening the family.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening. So you have children who will have deficits emotionally because their parent is not there on call. That's what parents are supposed to do. So if you want to have a child because his cute or your time clock is clanging or whatever, if y'all got your education now, you feel you can take care of that child. Well, that's coming from your emotional standpoint. But what about that child as they grow up? That they will understand that they were conceived actually in lust and not in love. That's a heavy thing because now they have to justify that they're present. This is deep. I can't go fully into it. In order for them to know I love my mommy, I've got to love that she conceived me, knowing that it wasn't going to work out. Woo, that messes with your mind. And that's a part of the challenges that we're having today. All right. Okay, good comments. Anybody, Allisson, you want to fill in on that?
Yeah, I don't think it just started a generation ago there. I think once we started putting money over family, like, oh my goodness, I can have 3 jobs and my wife will be home, do what she has to do. So the father may have not been home. So although the mother and father may have been together, the child may have seen the mama too much, doing too much, or so I think this started way back. Once we saw money and stuff, because way back when they didn't have nothing, but people were, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people were happy because this is always going on. But I think once we lost the nucleus of the family and the more we got technology and, now we got all these crazy reality shows showing you, oh, that's not real life, I get money.
Gosh, yeah.
So once we started throwing every generation, we started more and more and more advancement is what caused a lot of problems because we stopped talking about family. That bond, mom, dad, let's go out on Saturday and do things with the children. Once everybody got too busy, then everybody was like, well, I could do it on my own. I just need the baby and the job and I'm straight.
Yeah.
So,
Not recognizing down the road.
no, not looking down the road when you're 50, 60, 70 and you just want you and your partner, you and your husband, because the children are gone, then you're there alone, and alone's not always it's not a bad thing. However, you begin to say, oh, well, maybe if I had done it that way, then we grow together. And, life's not perfect, but it's sure nice when you have somebody there to grow with. So I think we just, as the generations went on by, we just lost it. And now we're completely lost it because everything's just going left.
Yeah. So in other words, our independence cut off the interdependence.
Yeah. And it's okay to be, it's okay to be independent. However, it takes 2 to tango. So if it takes 2 people to make a baby, it makes 2 people to make a home. It's all about 2, right? Didn't they go in the ark 2 by 2? So the only people that got it right were the animals. Good. We really went wrong. So and for me that's where we went wrong. And I my girls, to be honest, I tell them all the time, I don't care what you say, get married. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. You're pretending. Everybody wants to be married and happy, especially when you got children, because when they get on your nerves, go to your daddy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can't say that when it's just you. Go to your who?
That's right. I knew every Wednesday night was shopping, and they'll be ripped our daddy for 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's downtime. So sex, lust, confused and everything, just a whole heap of confusion. So now we need to pull it back in. So for me, things like this, real, news real. Hopefully, the right people are watching, so they recognize that you can make a mistake, or you can start it out right. And we need the younger people to see this. I talk to Naisha. We need the younger ones to understand. Stay focused. Keep your virginity. Don't let your friends, because that's what it is. It's influence, and nobody wants to be the oddball. So a lot of times you get influenced by friends and things like that, and then before you know it, you just make the wrong choice.
Yeah.
But we really need to be talking to the young people as much as possible. Boys, girls. It's okay to be different. Different's better, actually. Who wants to be like everybody else?
Yeah.
So I think we dropped the ball a long time ago, and now we just need to rein it in some more.
Yeah. And you're saying exactly, here we go. What a comment is I'm going to share here. But since that foundation has not been taught to young people, then this is another reason why many young people view these values as old-fashioned. Yeah. If they've not seen it for 10, 20 years, they're going to be like, what archives are you coming from?
Yeah.
But abnormal has been normalized.
Yeah, exactly.
We have invited in a struggle, which has been normalized.
Yeah.
Ironically, somebody mentioned reality show. I think you did, Al. I don't know why. My phone, I don't know. I laughed out when it was on the midwives. No, it was on a preacher. I woke up and it was on some reality show. And I watched it for about 5 minutes. And I was like, these people are out of their mind.
Yeah.
But they're famous and they're on TV. And let me tell you, it's toxic. It's abnormal. It's not a normal family. You shouldn't be seeing these things about family all over the place. However, it's been glamorized. Now, let me say this. I believe such things are glamorized and normalized to destroy families.
Yeah, of course. If not, I tell people, look, straight up, no, I ain't into the, LBG, whatever. I can't watch TV shows. I mean, I just can't do it. It's not normal. I can't watch the show. I have to turn it off, because I don't want my grandchildren seeing it. I want them to see that it was from Adam and Eve. At the end of the day, it's an Adam and Eve thing. And there was a marriage at first, and that may have had its issues too.
Sure.
But the point is, there was a marriage.
Yeah.
So, as we always say, as it was in the beginning, shall it be in the end. So when they all figure that out, then cool. And I'll continue to say it.
Yeah. And so looking at this Proverbs 31 woman, we can see why people will be looking at her cockeyed, weird, because she ain't the reality TV show.
Nope, not even close.
And so it's like, wow. All right, let's deal with one more comment. Time is going on, and yet this is good conversation, because one of the things we want to stir in the minds of people is the reality that a pastor such as myself and people in the church, we know what's going on. We can speak to it. Now, certainly as a scientist and biologist, I can deal with even the biological aspect of why you're temporarily satisfied for a minute, but it's over. And you still have to face the fact that it didn't last. So ironically, many of the young people have seen relationships that didn't last, jump into relationships, they don't last, but they hear the words love, and they got trapped into thinking, I'm going to be fulfilled because he said he loves me. When really we understand that love, there are different types of love. And many times, I'm going to put it on the guys, when they say, I love you, they mean, I love you because you're going to let me have you right now. I love you, really, I do. Not I love you and I want you to meet my parents and be the one that I invest my life with forever. And I think we have a lot of females, am I right about it, millennials? A lot of females that have been hurt because they wanted to hear that they were loved, but did not understand that it wasn't the agape love, it was the sensual love, the sexual love, lust. Lust is real. And I'm going to tell you, when you are at a deficit, they look like identical twins.
Yeah.
And you can't tell the difference until the twins grow up. A little bit of time, and you recognize, oh, Lord, they're not even fraternal twins. They're from different mamas, you know. And so this is something we want to talk about. So obviously we have a lot more talking to do when it comes to the Bible says you should be this woman. But the reality is, how can we be that woman today? First of all, we're not virgins anymore, except for maybe 5% of you. You know, the rare 5%. My thing is we can do secondary virginity. Start again.
Start again.
That's right. Allisson, your witness.
Yeah.
Start again. I think that's beautiful. You live long enough to start again and to show that you can make a comeback. And so let's have some closing comments. Just let me see something here. Yeah, people complaining about reality shows. Chelsea, your mama saying marriage is a commitment, a covenant between two people to love and to grow intentionally. And the truth of the matter is sometimes we grow apart. Sometimes we grow together. Sometimes we meander apart and manage to catch back up to each other. It is an interesting ordeal, journey. But for the grace of God, I may be exactly where my sister is. You know, it's a matter of a choice. I'm a choice away. You're a choice away. And that's why we want the conversation to be out there so that the young people who don't know church, have not been church, can understand that, listen, you don't have to be perfect. Come as you are and allow God now to make you to who you can be. You can become the Proverbs 31 woman at age 31, at age 41, 51, at age 61. It's a matter of time. All right, let's have some closing comments for today anyway, because I think it's not gonna be next week. We're taking a Christmas break.
Hey.
I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to somebody else out there. They know who they are. Right. Let's have some closing comments. Proverbs 31 woman, you're talking to many out there are not as churched, don't do church, yet we're talking to them about Proverbs 31 woman. Some closing comments. Let me start with, who should I start with? Chelsea.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. What are you saying to those? We've got at least 56 people tuned in. At the conclusion of this part 2, what do you want to say to the young women your age who are considering maybe connecting with God? What advice you want to give them?
Connecting with God. Find you other young people that want the same thing. Especially if you're new to it, and you haven't grown up in church and don't know how to, go about building your relationship with God. Find somebody that does know and that you can have those conversations with. Both in your age group and then of course an older mentor, so that you have the option, right? I serve as a mentor for quite a few people. They'll come to me, and if it's too big for me, I'm like, ooh, you need to take this to somebody else. I can't carry you on this one. But yeah, just find people that you can have that open conversation with. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to that is just going to be to trust someone. Like, I don't trust everybody, but ask God for discernment and who to trust, so that you can build the foundation right and make sure that somebody is holding you accountable to it.
Okay, I like that because you just spoke about the necessity of women your age and younger having female role models. All right. And I hope, for example, that a mother who's listening would not be offended if their daughter had to go to another female to have a discussion about this God thing and getting connected. You have to be careful who you release your children to. I mean, I was very much, yeah, go talk to this person. Even some ministers, I'm like, oh Lord, I just regret, because you have to be careful that your child doesn't become hooked on a person. Always make sure they're going towards a purpose and not a person. That's very, very important. And so I'll just add that to the mix. Sister Kayla, talk to me. That person out there, what you want to have to say to them.
Don't be afraid to take the first step. If this is what you desire, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid of what people might think, what people might say, even those close to you. Don't be afraid to just do it. And also, the biggest thing is to keep in mind that your relationship with God is personal. It is yours. So don't even look at like church goers for what you think your relationship would be, because even when, like, we always see it when something goes wrong in the church or with churches or whatever, people is like, oh, see, that's why I don't go to church, because of this, and these Christians do that. And when people say stuff like that, if it's somebody that I communicate with, I often come back with, okay, so if you knew of a couple and the man beat the woman, say the man beat the woman, or let's even say the man murdered the woman, whatever, and that relationship is done, obviously, does that stop you from wanting a relationship with the person for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And no, it doesn't stop you from that, because that's not your relationship.
Right.
That's their relationship. So for me, that's the same thing with the church and having a personal relationship with God. Yeah, you may see somebody who goes to church faithfully, but is out in the world doing horrible things. That's their relationship with God. That's not yours. And they have to answer for that. So that's always what I try to, if I get into that conversation, it's just, this is personal. Your convictions are personal. Like, the Bible is the standard. Church is a covering, church is protection, church is where you go for healing and fulfillment and all of that. But at the end of the day, you still leave that church, you go on about your life, and it's still you and God. You're not always going to be in church 24 hours of the day, but you and God's always going to be you and God, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. So the biggest thing is remember that it's personal.
Yes.
And just do it.
Good. That's good advice. Certainly that understanding the personal relationship and not identifying, and it's easy to identify with the person that fails to give you an out when you've got all these other people who are having a wonderful relationship that's successful with God. So, it's very much understanding it's what you make it. It's what you make it. All right. Allisson, closing comments for tonight. What you're saying to our youngsters.
Well, the same effort you put into everything else, we want to be the best at this, we want to have the best clothes. But if you just took that same effort and looked at it with your relationship with God and realized that you could try everything else, is not going to satisfy you, right? So for me, it's you don't have to wait and try everything else. Try to have an honest relationship with God and see where that takes you. And then you'll realize that everything you were searching for and everything you wanted was actually there in front of you the whole time.
Wow. Well, I'll say this as we conclude this session, that my prayer and my hope and prayer is that someone out there who is not a churchgoer is hearing this and understanding there's something they're missing, and they therefore are not afraid,
right,
fearful to take that opportunity to now connect with a church and find out what is this about. They heard from the auntie, the mama, the grandfather, the whoever, church people. Why did you test drive the sex partner, but you don't even try church? What's that about? Did I just say something there? Yeah. Give church an opportunity. Now, certainly, I'm going to say you come to Shekinah. I don't care who came and left. You come to Shekinah, you're going to find there's no place finer. I believe it. And we're meeting you where you are at. We are showing you who we are outside of me being in my robe and in the pulpit. Real nurse, real. We can speak to every situation going on. There's somebody in the house with the experience, with similar enough a lifestyle that you can identify with them and succeed. So with that, ladies, women, thank you again.
You're welcome.
And hey, let's see what we're going to do next time and how we're going to take this conversation to the next level, who we might invite in to join us and be a part of this conversation. Until then, stay focused, have that vision, write it down, and let's get it going. So to Chelsea, good night to you, my dear one.
All
Get
right.
that room clean, please.
It's clean, just clothes on the couch.
Good to have you, and thank you for every comment. You've done wonderful as usual. God bless you.
Thank you.
Kayla, God bless you. Glad to have you on board tonight, and you are able to share some wonderful comments. Thank you for everything. Looking forward to the next time. God bless
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. All right. And then my sister, Allisson. Yep, people are just beginning to know that I have a sister. There she is. We are 5 years apart. 5 years apart. And so good to have her now in the kingdom and bringing her wisdom of experience. I believe it's for such a time as this, that perhaps in some areas where I'm not as versed, knowledgeable, she brings the full dose of it to the board, and we're glad to have her on board at Shekinah and working along to help her sister, her pastor, to get done to the next level. All right, we've got children, we've got relatives, and we don't just care about our children and our relatives. That's why we're having the conversations out here. We care about you too. All right, Allisson, I'll check you later.
Night. Okay.
God bless you. All right. Good. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We've had another conversation around the Proverbs 31 woman and the challenges of this woman being seen in the youth for today. I think the big conclusion is because they have not been exposed to God, exposed to church. They haven't had the foundation of knowing God's standard. And here I come talking about this standard of the Proverbs 31 woman. I think another thing I should say that's quite obvious is that some of the church people are saying, I know about this Proverb 31 woman. And so therefore, how much we expect of those who are sinners to understand this woman. Yet I will say this, it's about God's standard. And whether you're married or not, you still operate with God's standard. Not everyone's going to be married, but everyone can operate according to that standard. So Bermuda, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I know I'll get to see some of the comments later on. Superintendent, I caught that comment. She looked at us together, Allisson, and she said, look at Raymond and Diane. Yep. Two girls of tenacity. That's for sure. Again, everyone for tuning in. Thank you. I'll get to some of your comments to just let you know that I've read them and I do appreciate it. Thank you for spending this time with us. For some of you, a song of the night, I'm going to go right into it. I'm going to do 5 minutes and we'll do a half an hour of it for tonight. Okay. So everyone, again, God bless you. Sister Angela Young, she's out there and we're thanking her for her guidance and support in everything that we're doing. This is wonderful. Again, folks, have a blessed night and certainly a Merry Christmas to you. And let's remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. And let's continue to keep that at the forefront. All right. Until next time, this is Dr. Maria. Real versus real nurse, real, you know that. Blessings abound.